be watching a film called Battlefield of the Mind. My buddy Franz Strine, he's the director of the film. The film is extremely well done. It is also a pretty hard-hitting subject matter. I want to introduce Fran a little bit, and my friend Jim Dorencott of Veterans for Peace. I wanted Fran to talk a little bit about his motivations to make the film and how he was able to produce such a film on limited resources and get the support and attention of people like Norman Solomon and rock stars from Megadeth to produce this film as a labor of love to contribute to the struggle that veterans find themselves in.
I was on tour with rock bands, so I missed a lot of my son growing up, and I was like, you know what, I really want to make a film, particularly a documentary, about something that matters. I moved to the Bay Area about a year and a half ago, and I'd come to the city and kind of hang out and walk around and see massive amounts of homeless people. I judged them. You know, what are these drug addicts, assholes, vagrants doing? And it wasn't until I started talking to some of these guys I found out that a lot of these guys are suffering from PTSD, which leads to their homelessness, and I quickly changed my train of thought and knew what I wanted to make a film about right away. I went back out on the road with a group called Stained, and I told the singer about my desire to make a film on veteran homelessness, and he wanted to get involved. It was like, I'll sign on as a producer and help you raise some funds. It costs a lot of money to make a movie in San Francisco. I believe the shooting fee was $600 a day. We raised on a platform called Kickstarter $67,000 in 30 days. We had another couple of private donations let us have about $100 grand to film. And all the funds go to some of these organizations you're going to see in the film. So I made the movie to cultivate awareness about the situation, so the next time you walk by a pirate mic, you hand them a sandwich or let them know where you can go to get help.
Our destroyers were running along the coast of North Vietnam. All hands man their battle stations. I'm running through the passageway and he goes, "This is not a drill." And I'm going, "Holy shit, God, take it back, let's make it a drill." Because I learned in boot camp it takes 3 nuclear bombs in those days to sink an aircraft carrier. Who the hell is going to attack an American aircraft carrier 200 miles out at sea? It sure ain't the North Vietnamese PT boats. It's got to be the Russians or the Chinese, World War III. I came out of the Navy convinced we were headed towards nuclear annihilation. It was an obsessive compulsive drive which ended up with me coordinating the San Diego chapter of the Nuclear Weapons Freeze campaign.
On any given night, right here in America, approximately 125,000 veterans are homeless and on the streets. Many of them live with the lingering effects of post-traumatic stress disorder and substance abuse, which are compounded by the lack of family and social support. How can this happen in the wealthiest country in the world? Meet Georgia, a veteran of the U.S. Army who is now homeless. He suffers from severe PTSD stemming from being attacked by a suicide bomber in Iraq and a lack of understanding from his family on his issue with the wars.
I spent all my life in the state of Georgia, growing up with the creeks and the streams and the good old boy values of taking care of people, defending your country, and making a good life for yourself. Everybody around me thought that there were weapons of mass destruction. It could be used on my country. On March 6th of August, I put my name and my life on a piece of paper. 2009, I was called back to Fallujah with 1st Armored Division, stationed out of Wiesbaden, Germany. There had been an uprising in the city of Fallujah after we had already fought this city down once. I'm standing at my checkpoint. Here comes like a Jeep coming from a distance. It's this just banging, moving fast, and it comes up, and then at this point in the war, I've been there so long, you know, I'm on my 4th tour, and I've been coming to so many encounters to where I have to shoot in situations where innocent people are involved. I didn't want to hurt anybody else. You never know who is going to hurt you. That's the last thing I remember. And he blew himself, the Jeep, and everything around him up. I was about 15, 20 feet from him, and I got ate up with the shrapnel that came out of the Jeep. It took a hell of a long time to recover and get walking and get confident about, you know, doing stuff on my own. But as soon as I did, I let my dad and my family know that I just wasn't going to be staying there. My dad and everybody around me seems to think that we deserve some fucking hero welcome home, and because we done a good thing. And I challenged them to spend 45 minutes in my shoes as an infantry police officer, kicking open doors, watching the feral little kids' faces as I searched their parents and their house.
People have a hard time managing their symptoms and coping effectively when they're in occupational settings, familial settings. They may actually push people away with their anger, their irritability. They may have difficulty maintaining jobs because they may get into interpersonal conflicts with co-workers. They may not be reliable and consistent coming to work because they're suffering from all these symptoms. And if you're, of course, losing jobs, you might not be able to pay the bills. And then that could lead to people not, being able to maintain their residence.
This is Pirate Mike. Losing his family and drug addiction ultimately led to his homelessness. He became a street medic, patching up veterans on the street, and he is also a homeless veterans activist.
What I've been seeing on the streets, more and more young men are unable to live with themselves. They can't live with their pre-service self because that sergeant, that private, is such a dominant force in their personalities now. They cannot get the civilian to forgive the soldier. Bridge the disconnect of their service with the world they're living in now. They're expected to just jump into what everybody else is sharing. Really a numbness, an apathy.
I was in the U.S. Army and I had PTSD. My truck was hit, a good friend of mine was killed, and I came home disassociated and really, really angry. I didn't know how to talk to people, answer questions, or even how to look at people. I actually tried to write a letter to my wife. The letter turned into a poem. When the sun's beating down, he's got him locked in a sight. It's another soldier lost, another pointless fight. I lost good friend, they died before my eyes. I've seen their families mourn and I've heard their children cry. You can never understand the burden that is left. A million times I've wished for a bullet in my chest. It's easier to die than to live with what we've done, taking people's lives and never thinking to run. Dreams still haunt me. I still see his face. Filled with so much anger, I'll never be the same. Taught from birth to hate, they tried to take my life, and even though it's over, I still see him every night. How do you tell somebody that you love that I had to pull a trigger at somebody? I really do feel that that's something that the military should take into consideration.
PTSD and the suffering and the anguish and the rage and the uncertainty and sometimes the self-destruction. Why would a president want to get too close to that? That's not the PR.
I don't like to beg people for anything. San Francisco, sitting on the dock of the pay rate. Hundreds of Chinese women love me because I cook crabs and I give them to them cheap.
The liberals bitch and moan and complain about why did we start these wars. The right accept the facts because they started them, and maybe they feel some sort of guilt and want to help. I just noticed coming up here on mission, 3 dozen homeless people that are fucking starving. Go out there and hand them some of this stuff tonight. They need socks, they need clothes, they need food. The Vietnam guys still out there, even the Korean War guys, they're out there in the thousands. They're not being taken care of, they don't know where to go. What I can do is inform you where you can send some money. These are great organizations. You saw they give away homes, clothes, food. MAM, Military Assistance Mission, the Pathway Home, the Boot Campaign, and veterans first.